meat and dairy feed the world, but the Netherlands are paying a heavy environmental price for their status as a farming powerhouse. Dutch farmers are now facing a fresh dilemma: how to make cows climate-friendly.
We are not in a regular farm, we are in a research farm, dairy campus. My job is to optimize diets of dairy cattle in order to reduce methane emissions. Cows produce methane because the microorganisms that live in the stomach of a cow, they degrade the feed, like the grass or whatever the cow eats. And in that process of degradation, they also produce methane, and that's being released by the cow in its breath. The methane emissions from livestock in the Netherlands is pretty important. It's around 70% of all the methane produced in the Netherlands. We need to help cows to optimize their digestion. What we have in this table over here is a system which is called the green feed. A cow will go to the green feed because we give a little bit of nice, tasty meal. And while she is with her head in the green feed, we measure the breath of the animals. We know how much methane that cow produces per unit of milk in order to evaluate diets. So if we try to reduce methane in the Netherlands and change the diet of cows, what you could do first of all is to change the grass or grass silage. I think you would go up to 20–25% reductions in methane emissions. If you then add on top of that different feed additives or make other changes in the diet, like adding lipids, you could add another, say, 20%. So in total, we should get to some, say, 40–50% reduction of methane by dairy cattle.
Making cows less gassy isn't just a far-fetched idea, considering livestock are responsible for 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions. But here in the Netherlands, home to nearly 4 million cows, equivalent of 20% of the population, the government is battling a so-called nitrogen crisis. Mixed with their urine, the cow's manure can release nitrogen, polluting the soil and water. Now the country has put forward a radical plan to reduce livestock numbers by at least a third, but many say that's not the answer, and farmers hope technology can be the way out of the crisis.
At this location we're testing a unique cow toilet, a system which collects urine directly from the cow. This station attracts cows with feed. The toilet stimulates the nerve, which is a natural nerve between the udder and the vulva. The cow gets a natural reflex to urinate. It's something natural which is done by veterinarians over years and years, where they want to collect a urine sample. The urine is directly collected, sucked from the toilet and pushed to a separate storage. And the farmer can use this as a natural fertilizer. Ammonia occurs when you have phosphate and nitrogen together. In urine is mainly nitrogen, but in the manure you have the phosphate. So in a typical farm you see on the slurry slots the manure and the urine coming together. And the cow toilet is unique because we prevent it coming together. We collect already 15 liters per cow per day. We are now at a 40% reduction of ammonia output. We from Hanskamp don't think that reducing the number of cows is immediately a solution for reducing ammonia output, because we can reach so much more with technique, with innovation.
Today, the Dutch country is, of course, often known for its milk and cheese. And we expect that in the future, the Netherlands will be famous for its plant-based foods. The Netherlands is really a hotspot for alternative meat products. We're trying to replace cows Rival Foods is a food tech startup that develops the technology to create the next generation of plant-based meat alternatives. We use plants as a starting material. So you have beans, you have pulses, soy, pea, faba bean, wheat proteins. Those we grind and we create a powder. We add water to the powder so it becomes a kind of dough. And that we put into our machine. It's like a pressure cooker with the rotating part. So we apply temperatures and pressure and we rotate to align proteins so that we can create the texture and juiciness of meat. If you take a look into the retail market today, you mostly find alternatives for processed meats, such as burgers, sausages, minced meat, but there are not yet alternatives for whole-cut products, such as chicken breast, tenderloin, beef cuts. So what we're able to do is really transform plant-based proteins into these whole-cut products. And we're currently involved in further upscaling this technology to enable the creation of these products at large scale. We need to change our eating habits, but also the way we produce our foods.